The email from my father arrived at 2:17 a.m., its subject line blank, its words colder than the Seattle rain outside my window. You are no longer my daughter. All future matters will be handled through my lawyer. At 38, Fallon, stared at the screen, my heart a stone, unaware that those words would unravel a past I'd buried and force me to face a truth I'd never dared to name. The Seattle night was relentless, rain drumming against the windows of my Capitol Hill apartment, the glow of my laptop the only light in the room. At 38, Fallon, sat at my kitchen table, a half-empty mug of chamomile tea gone cold, my eyes fixed on an email that had arrived unannounced, its sender's name, Edward C. Warwick, a jolt, my father's formal signature ablaze. The message was brief, clinical: "You're no longer my daughter. All future matters will be handled through my lawyer, Robert Klein. Do not contact me directly." No explanation, no warmth, just a severance, as if I were a contract terminated, not a daughter he'd raised, controlled, and now discarded. My fingers hovered over the keyboard, my breath shallow, the rain's rhythm a mirror to the chaos in my chest. I was a grant writer for a nonprofit, my days spent crafting proposals for community gardens, my nights in this one bedroom, its walls lined with thrift store art and books I'd never finished. My father, a real estate magnate in Boston, lived in a world of marble and power, his wealth a shadow that had loomed over my life, his expectations, obedience, perfection, a chain I'd broken when I left at 25, choosing Seattle, distance, a life he couldn't shape. We'd been estranged for years, our contact sparse, Christmas cards a rare call, his disapproval a hum I'd learned to ignore, until now, this message a final cut, its coldness a wound I hadn't expected. Why now? My inner monologue reeled, shock and hurt tangling, the email's timing. 2:17 a.m., his time. A mystery, its lack of context a void. Had I done something? My last email, months ago, had been polite, distant. "Happy birthday, Dad. Hope you're well." His reply, a curt thank you, had seemed final, but not this, a disownment, legal and absolute. What changed? My inner voice pressed, suspense building, the rain a curtain, the apartment's quiet a weight, my father's words a puzzle, their cruelty a spark, my past a shadow I'd face, or flee. A flashback surfaced, raw and vivid. I was 16, in our Boston brownstone, its chandelier glinting, Dad's voice sharp as I showed him my college essay, a piece on environmental justice. "This is naive, Fallon," he'd said, his suit crisp, his eyes on his phone. "Focus on business, not dreams." My "it's what I care about" was small, his sigh heavy, his "you'll learn" a dismissal, his control, my clothes, my major, my future, a mold I'd never fit. I'd stood tall, my defiance quiet, my choice to study ecology at Reed College, to leave Boston, a rebellion he'd never forgiven, his wealth a leash I'd slipped, but not escaped. I stood, my bare feet cold on the hardwood, my flannel pajamas loose, my hands shaking as I paced, the email's words, "No longer my daughter," a loop in my mind. "He means it," my inner monologue whispered, fear creeping in, the finality a stone, my estrangement a choice, his disownment a verdict. I opened my phone, my thumb hovering over his number, then stopped, his "do not contact me" a wall, his lawyer's name, Robert Klein, a gatekeeper I didn't know. What does he want? My inner voice questioned, anger flickering, his control. Once curfews, now this, a reflex, his wealth a weapon, my independence a crime he'd punish. I sat again, my laptop's glow harsh, my tea bitter, the rain louder, a neighbor's dog barking faintly. I typed a reply, "Dad, what happened? Why this?" Then deleted it, my heart racing, his words a boundary I couldn't cross, my defiance a spark, not a fire. I don't need him, my inner resolve tried, but doubt lingered. Do I? His wealth had never been mine. I'd paid my loans, built my life, but his approval, his love, had been a ghost I'd chased, his rejection now a mirror, my worth a question I'd avoided. A flashback hit. I was 22 at his office, its skyline view vast, asking for help with grad school, his "you made your choices," Fallon cold, my "I'm trying to be me" fierce, our rift born then, his control a wall, my freedom a cost I'd paid, until now. The phone buzzed. Not Dad, but Mara, my best friend, her text. "Up late? Coffee tomorrow?" I typed yes. "Need to talk," my fingers steady, her warmth a lifeline, the email a weight I'd share, not carry alone. What's he hiding? My inner monologue probed, suspense thickening, his message a clue, not a conclusion, his lawyer a hint, legal matters, inheritance, or something darker. I opened my laptop, searched Robert Klein, Boston, a profile loading, estate law, high-profile clients, no answers, only questions. Is he sick? My inner voice wondered, hope and fear colliding, his health a secret, his disownment a shield, or a punishment, the truth a shadow in the Seattle rain. I closed the laptop, the room dark, the rain a steady hum, my apartment a haven, its art, swirls of green, blue, a reminder of my choice, my life, not his. I'm still his daughter, my inner heart ached, pain sharp, his words a cut, my strength a seed, not a bloom. I stood, my reflection in the window a woman I barely knew, my dark hair loose, my eyes tired but clear, the email a spark, not a fire, my journey to understand it a path I'd walk, not run. What's next? My inner monologue asked, tension rising, his message a door, closed but not locked, the truth a suspense that held me, trembling, in the Seattle night, my heart a question, its answer a shadow I'd chase, or shape. The Seattle rain hadn't stopped, a gray curtain blurring the edges of my Capitol Hill apartment, its rhythm a steady pulse against the windows as I, Fallon, at 38, sat on my couch, the glow of my phone dim, my father's email, "You are no longer my daughter. All future matters will be handled through my lawyer," etched in my mind like a scar. 3 days had passed since that 2:17 a.m. message, its coldness a shock that lingered, my heart caught between anger, grief, and a nagging need to understand why. My life as a grant writer, my quiet evenings with thrift store art and half-read books, felt fragile, the rupture with my father, Edward, a crack widening through memories of subtle tensions and missed moments, his control a shadow I'd fled but never outrun. Now, with Mara, my closest friend, offering a mirror to my pain, I process the fallout, my reflections a slow unraveling, the truth behind his words a suspense that gripped me, my journey a path through the rain, toward answers or acceptance. The apartment smelled of coffee and damp wool, my flannel shirt loose, my dark hair pulled back, the couch's worn cushions sinking under me. I'd reread the email a dozen times, each word, "no longer my daughter," a needle, its lack of explanation a void I filled with questions. Why now? My inner monologue churned, shock fading to a dull ache, the message's finality a weight, my estrangement from Dad, a Boston real estate tycoon, a choice I'd made at 25, not this, a disownment, legal and absolute. I'd called in sick yesterday, my grant proposals untouched, my nonprofit's garden projects a blur, my mind stuck on his words, their timing, 13 years after I left Boston, a puzzle, his lawyer, Robert Klein, a name I'd Googled, his estate law profile offering no clues, only suspense. A flashback surfaced, sharp and raw. I was 19, in our Boston brownstone, its oak floors gleaming, Dad's voice cold as I packed for Reed College, my ecology major a defiance. "You're throwing away your future, Fallon," he'd said, his suit pressed, his eyes on his watch. It's my future was firm, his "you'll regret it" a warning, his control, my schedule, my friends, a leash I'd snapped, Our connection fraying then, his calls rare, his Christmas cards formal, our last talk, a stilted birthday call ending with his "You're still out there?" As if Seattle were exile, not home. I thought we'd softened. My inner voice mourned, pain sharp. Those missed chances, my emails, his silences, a thread we'd both let break, now severed by his choice, not mine. Mara arrived at 10, her raincoat dripping, her curly hair frizzing, her, "You look like hell," foul, warm, her presence a balm, her job as a barista a contrast to my quiet, her openness a mirror to my reserve. We sat at my kitchen table, the coffee she'd brought steaming, its bitterness grounding. "Okay, spill," she said, her hazel eyes steady, her voice a nudge, not a push. I showed her the email, my hands trembling, her gasp soft, her "Jesus, that's brutal, honest," her reaction a spark, my shock no longer mine alone. She sees it, my inner monologue exhaled, relief fleeting, her perspective unburdened by Dad's wealth, his rules a lens, her, "What the hell happened?" Echoing my own, the question a suspense we'd chase, together. I traced the mug's rim, my voice low. "I don't know, Mara. We've barely talked in years, but this? It's like he's erasing me." My words cracked, grief rising, the email a rejection deeper than estrangement, his no longer a verdict on my worth. What did I do? My inner voice questioned, doubt creeping in, my choice to leave Boston, to reject his world. Marble, power, control, a crime he'd never forgiven, his wealth a wall I'd scaled, but not escaped. Mara leaned forward, "He's the one losing, not you," fierce, her hand on mine, her belief in me a contrast to Dad's dismissal, her life, messy, free, a reminder of mine, built without his strings, yet haunted by his shadow. Another flashback hit. I was 27, visiting Boston, Dad's penthouse sterile, his new wife, Claire, a silent blonde, his voice clipped as I mentioned my first grant job. "Charity work," he'd scoffed, his whiskey glass glinting. "You could have been at my firm, Fallon." My "I'm happy" was defiant, his happiness doesn't pay a jab. Our dinner ending in silence, Claire's smile tight, my hope for connection, a shared laugh, a memory, lost, his control a barrier, my freedom a cost. I tried, my inner monologue ached, the missed chances, my calls, his grunts, a pattern, his email now a culmination, not a surprise, its coldness a truth I'd ignored. His love was conditional, my defiance a debt he'd collect. "He's always been like this," I said, my voice steadier, anger flickering, controlling, judging. "But this feels final." Mara nodded, her "Maybe it's not about you," thoughtful, her perspective a shift, her "Could he be sick? Or broke?" A spark, the idea, his health, his empire, new, unsettling, the email a shield, not a sword. Is he hiding something? My inner voice probed, suspense building, his lawyer's role, estate law, a clue, his disownment a move, not an end, the truth a shadow I'd chase, or shape. I sipped coffee, its warmth grounding Mara's "You're stronger than his crap," a mirror, my strength a seed, not a bloom, my processing a journey, not a sprint. I walked Mara to the door, the rain softer, her "Call me," anytime warm, her hug a tether, my apartment quiet, the email's weight lighter, shared. I opened my laptop, the nonprofit's garden proposal due, my fingers typing, my focus shaky, Dad's words a hum. What's he protecting? My inner monologue wondered, the email a puzzle, its timing, post-midnight, a hint his life, Claire, his firm, his health, a black box, my estrangement a choice, his disownment a question. A flashback softened the edge. I was 15, in his study, his rare smile as I fixed his printer, my "I like this stuff" shy, his "You're sharp," Fallon warm, a moment we'd lost, his control, later, always, erasing it, my hope for his pride a ghost, now buried. I stood, my reflection in the window a woman worn but clear, my flannel shirt a shield, my eyes sharp, the rain a rhythm, my life, Grant's, art, Mara a haven, not his cage. I don't need him, my inner resolve tried, but grief lingered. But I wanted him. His email was a door, slammed, my journey to understand it a path, not a race, my strength in facing it, not fleeing. What's next? My inner voice asked, tension rising, the truth, his reasons, my worth, a suspense that held me steady. In the Seattle dawn, my heart a question, its answer a spark I'd find, or forge. The Seattle rain had softened to a drizzle, its faint patter against my Capitol Hill apartment a backdrop to the unease that had settled in my chest. 6 days after my father's email, "You are no longer my daughter. All future matters will be handled through my lawyer," had shattered the fragile distance between us. At 38, I, Fallon, sat at my desk, the glow of my laptop casting shadows on my thrift store art, my grant proposals for community gardens a blur, my mind tangled in the silence that followed his words, a silence now broken by a letter from his lawyer, Robert Klein, its contents a legal complication that deepened the tension. My reflections on our past, Dad's control, our missed connections, had stirred a need to reclaim my agency, through work, through Mara's perspective, through the quiet introspection that kept me up, but a pivotal confrontation with a part of my identity, buried since Boston, would force me to face a truth I'd avoided. The suspense of Dad's motives a weight that pushed me towards strength, not surrender. The apartment was quiet, the scent of chamomile tea faint, my flannel shirt rolled at the sleeves, my dark hair loose, the clock ticking past 9 p.m. The letter from Klein, delivered yesterday, lay on my desk, its cream paper formal, its words stark. As per Edward Warwick's directive, you're excluded from all familial and financial matters. Any inquiries must be directed to this office. Cease direct contact. Attached was a non-disclosure agreement, its legal jargon a gag order, barring me from discussing Warwick family matters publicly, with a veiled threat of litigation if I refused to sign. He's silencing me, my inner monologue seethed, anger flaring, the NDA a new layer of control, his disownment not just personal but strategic, a move to erase me from his world, his wealth, his legacy. Why this? My inner voice questioned, suspense thickening, the letter a clue, not an answer, its timing, days after the email, a hint of something larger, Dad's empire, his health, or a secret I couldn't name. I'd called Mara last night. He's scared of you, fell sharp, her barista's bluntness a contrast to my caution. What's he hiding? Echoing my own, the NDA a puzzle, its demand for silence a spark, my agency a flame I'd stoke, not let die. I'd searched Klein again, his firm's site listing trusts, estates, high-stakes divorces, a whisper of Dad's life, Claire, his second wife, or a failing firm, but no truth, only tension, the silence from Boston a voice, its message unclear. A flashback surfaced, raw and jagged. I was 21, in Dad's Boston office, its leather chairs cold, my ecology thesis on his desk, his "this won't make you money," Fallon curt, his eyes on a contract, not me. I'd stood, my "I don't want your money" fierce, his "you'll need it" a prophecy, our rift widening, his control, my career, my voice, a chain I'd broken, but not escaped, his email now a mirror, my defiance a cost, his silence a punishment. I was never enough, my inner monologue ached, pain sharp, those missed moments, my letters, his grunts, a thread we'd both cut, his NDA a knot, my identity as his daughter, a question I'd avoided, until now. I pushed the letter aside, my laptop open, a grant proposal half-written, my nonprofit's garden project a lifeline, its focus on equity, green spaces for low-income kids, a rebellion against Dad's world of profit, power, marble. I typed, my fingers steady, my agency in work, not his rules, my strength in building something he'd never touch. But the NDA loomed, its threat, litigation, exposure, a cloud, my life in Seattle, grants, Mara, my art, a haven he could disrupt. He still controls me, my inner voice admitted, fear creeping in, his wealth a weapon, my independence a fight, not a win. I called my boss, Lena, a mentor with gray curls and sharp eyes, her take a day. Fallon, you sound off, kind but firm, her trust in me a contrast to Dad's rejection, her perspective a spark, my agency a choice, not a gift. I met Mara at a cafe that afternoon, its cedar walls warm, the scent of espresso grounding, her curly hair tucked under a beanie, her "you signing that thing?" direct, her question a pivot, my silence a confession. I don't know, I said, my voice low, my coffee untouched. It's like he's erasing me, but keeping me quiet too. He's a coward, was fierce, her hand on mine, her life, free, unscripted, a mirror to my cage, you're not his pawn, a challenge, my agency a seed, not a bloom. What's he protecting? My inner monologue probed, the NDA a clue, its silence a demand, Dad's motives, Claire, his firm, his health, a shadow, the truth a suspense that held me, trembling, in the Seattle dusk. Back at the apartment, the rain heavier, I stood in my living room, the pivotal scene unfolding, my reflection in the mirror a confrontation, not with Dad, but with myself. I'd kept a box from Boston, buried in my closet, its contents, photos, a locket, a high school journal, untouched since I'd left at 25. I pulled it out, my hands shaking, the journal's pages yellowed, its entries a voice I'd silenced. Dad laughed today, said I'm his brain. Why doesn't he say it more? At 16, I'd craved his pride, my identity tied to his rare smiles, my defiance, ecology, Seattle, a rebellion against his control, but also a loss, my role as his daughter a part I'd played, then shed, now questioned. I wanted to be his, my inner heart ached, an emotional low, tears falling, the journal a mirror, my worth a lie I'd believed. I was only enough if he said so. I opened the locket, a photo inside me, 10, Dad, his arm around me, our smiles real, a moment before his control tightened, before I learned to fight, to leave. He loved me then, my inner voice whispered, a turning point, not in forgiving him, but in seeing myself, my identity not just as daughter, but Fallon, writer, friend, rebel, a woman who'd built the life, not his shadow. I don't need his name, my inner resolve hardened, agency rising, the NDA a challenge, not a chain, my strength in choosing my path, not his silence. I closed the journal, the locket, my reflection clearer, my eyes sharp, the letter on my desk a spark, not a fire, my journey to face it a fight, not a flight. I sat, my laptop open, an email to Klein drafted. I need clarity on my father's directive. What prompted this? My tone was firm, my agency in asking, not signing, my defiance a light, not a blaze, the truth, Dad's reasons, my place, a suspense that lingered, the rain a rhythm, my apartment a haven, my strength a quiet power, not his to dim. What will he say? My inner monologue wondered, tension deepening, the silence from Boston a voice, its answer a shadow I'd chase, or shape, in the Seattle night, my heart a question, its spark a strength I'd claim, trembling, but unbroken. The Seattle dawn was a muted glow, its light filtering through the drizzle that clung to my Capitol Hill apartment, the air heavy with coffee and the faint tang of ink from my grant proposals. At 38, I, Fallon, stood at a crossroads, 10 days after my father's email. You are no longer my daughter. All future matters will be handled through my lawyer, had severed our fragile thread, its echo compounded by his lawyer Robert Klein's letter, demanding silence through a non-disclosure agreement. The shock had given way to a slow burn of anger and grief, my reflections on our past, Dad's control, our lost moments, unearthing a buried self, the girl who'd craved his pride, now reclaimed through Mara's support and my own introspection. Last night's journal, its pages of teenage hope, had forced me to face my identity, not as his daughter, but as Fallon, a grant writer, a rebel, a woman carving her own path. Now a bold step loomed, a choice to redefine family, not through his terms, but mine, its weight both fear and clarity, the resolution a horizon, not a finish line, the rain a rhythm to my trembling strength. The apartment was still, my flannel shirt soft, my dark hair tied back, the kitchen table strewn with papers, Klein's letter, my draft email to him, my journal open to a page from 17. Dad said I'm sharp, but he never looks at me. I'd stared at it last night, the locket's photo, me, Dad, smiling, beside it, a reminder of a love we'd lost to his control, my defiance a spark that had grown, my agency in work, in Mara's fierce, you're not his pawn, a flame. The NDA, with its threat of litigation, was a leash, Dad's attempt to erase me, not just from his life, but his legacy, its silence a demand I'd refused to sign, my email to Klein. I need clarity, unsent, a question I'd hesitated to ask, fearing his answer or none. What am I waiting for? My inner monologue pressed, fear a tight coil, the silence from Boston a wall, Dad's motives, his health, his firm, Claire, a shadow I couldn't name. I'd called Lena, my boss, yesterday, you're carrying something heavy, Fallon, gentle, her offer of a week's leave a gift, her trust a contrast to Dad's rejection, my work a haven, its garden projects a rebellion against his marble world. But the NDA loomed, its legal weight a storm, my life, grants, art, Mara a fragile shore, his wealth a wave that could crash. He's still winning, my inner voice admitted, clarity piercing, my fear not of him, but of losing myself, my identity as Fallon, not his daughter, a truth I'd fight for, not flee. A flashback surfaced, raw and telling. I was 24, in Boston for Christmas, Dad's penthouse cold, Claire's perfume sharp, my gift, a book on urban farming unopened, his, you're still chasing ideals, a jab, they're my ideals steady, our dinner silent, my hope for connection, a shared memory, a laugh, dead, his control a barrier, my choice to leave early a step, not a stride. I let him shape me, my inner monologue mourned, pain sharp, those moments, his sighs, my silence, a pattern I'd broken by leaving, but not healed, his email a wound, my strength a choice, not a reflex, now tested, now claimed. I sat, my laptop open, Klein's letter beside it, my email draft glowing. I need clarity on my father's directive. What prompted this? Why the NDA? I revised it, my fingers steady, my choice forming, not to beg, but to demand, not answers, but space, a boundary he couldn't cross. I won't sign. My inner resolve hardened, clarity rising, the NDA a symbol, not a chain, my agency in refusing it, my voice a power he'd silenced, I'd reclaim. But fear lingered. What if he fights back? Litigation, his wealth, his influence, a storm I couldn't weather, my life a haven, not a fortress, my strength a spark, not a shield. Mara's text buzzed. Lunch? You okay? I typed yes, 1 p.m. Need you, her warmth a tether, her perspective a mirror, my choice a step she'd cheer, not judge. I walked to the cafe, the drizzle cool, Seattle's gray a canvas, my boots firm on the pavement, my heart racing, the email unsent, my decision a pulse. Mara waited, her beanie damp, her you've got that look, foul, warm, her coffee order, black, no sugar, a contrast to my latte, her life a freedom I envied, her what's the move? A spark, my choice a fire, not a flicker. I'm not signing, I said, my voice low, the cafe's hum grounding, her nod fierce, her hell yes a grin, her he doesn't own you a truth, my agency in speaking it astride, not a stumble. I'm emailing his lawyer, I added, my tone steady. not to fight, but to say I'm done, his terms, his silence, his rules. Her, that's my girl, was warm, her hand on mine, my fear a shadow, her belief a light, my choice specific, earned, not a scream, but a stand, my identity, Fallon, not Warwick, a line I'd draw, not erase. Back home, the pivotal scene unfolded, not in Boston, but here, at my desk, the rain louder, my laptop open, the email rewritten. Mr. Klein, I will not sign the NDA. My father's directive is his choice, not mine. I seek no contact, no claim, only closure. Do not pursue me further. My words were firm, not vengeful, my boundary a wall, not a weapon, my choice to sever his control, not chase his reasons, a step toward redefining family, not blood, but bonds. Mara, Lena, my work, my art, a haven he couldn't touch. He'll hate this. My inner monologue trembled, fear sharp, his response, silence, or worse, a risk, my clarity stronger. I'm not his to silence. I hit send, my breath catching, the rain a roar, my heart a drum. The act bold, not reckless, my growth in choosing myself, not his approval, my strength in facing fear, not fleeing it. What now? My inner voice asked, suspense lingering, Klein's reply, Dad's reaction, a shadow, my life a light, its edges sharper, my family not his name, but my choices, my people, my path. A flashback softened the edge. I was 30 in Seattle. My first grant approved. Dad's voicemail. I heard you're doing well. Keep it up, a rare warmth. Ignored. My silence then a choice. Now a power. His email a wound. My email a healing, not a cure. I stood, my reflection in the window clear, my flannel shirt a shield, my eyes bright, the drizzle a rhythm, my apartment a home, not his cage. I'm Fallon, my inner monologue affirmed, clarity a tide, my fear a wave, my strength a shore, the resolution a horizon, not a line, his silence a question, my voice an answer. Will he reply? My inner heart wondered, tension holding, the truth, his motives, my worth, a suspense that lingered, my choice a spark, my growth a quiet power, not his to dim, trembling, but steady, in the Seattle dawn. The Seattle winter had settled in, its chill seeping through the cracks of my Capitol Hill apartment, the rain now a soft hum, the city's gray a canvas I'd learned to call home. At 38, I, Fallon, stood 3 weeks past my boldest choice, emailing my father's lawyer, Robert Klein, refusing his non-disclosure agreement, declaring my refusal to be silenced by my father Edward's disownment. You are no longer my daughter. That message, followed by Klein's legal threat, had unraveled a past of control and missed connections, pushing me to reclaim my agency through work, Mara's fierce support, and a confrontation with my identity, not as his daughter, but as Fallon, grant writer, rebel, builder of a life he couldn't shape. Klein's reply, a curt acknowledgement with no answers, had left the tension unresolved, my father's motives, his health, his empire, Claire, a shadow. Now, I faced the final step, not toward revenge or closure, but self-respect, a quiet strength earned through a choice both simple and profound, its truth raw, not neat, a realization that would anchor me, trembling but whole, in the Seattle dusk. The apartment was warm, the scent of cedar candles mingling with coffee, my flannel shirt loose, my dark hair tucked behind my ears, the living room's thrift store art, swirls of green, ochre, glowing under a lamp. My desk held a finished grant proposal, a community garden for a Tacoma school, its pages a testament to my work, my rebellion against Dad's marble world of profit and power. The journal from Boston, its teenage hopes, Dad said I'm sharp, lay closed, the locket's photo, us, smiling, decades ago. Tucked away, their weight no longer a wound, but a memory, my identity reshaped, not as his daughter, but as Fallon, whole without his name. I'm enough, my inner monologue affirmed, Strength a steady pulse, the pain of his rejection. No longer my daughter, a scar, not a chain. My growth in choosing myself, not his approval. A fire I tended, not borrowed. Mara had called earlier, her glowing, foul, warm. Her barista's bluntness a mirror, her what's next? A spark, not a push. I'd laughed. I'm figuring it out honest. Her belief in me a contrast to Dad's silence, her life, messy, free, a reminder of mine, built without his wealth, his rules. Lena, my boss, had approved my proposal yesterday, her you're vital here, Fallon a gift, her gray curls and sharp eyes a steady hand, my work a haven, its purpose. Equity, green spaces, a defiance, my agency a choice, not his gift. They're my family, my inner voice realized, clarity soft but sure. Mara, Lena, my nonprofits team a bond, not blood, their warmth a light, his shadow a fading echo. A flashback surfaced, gentle but raw. I was 29, in Seattle. My first apartment, a cramped studio, calling Dad to share a grant win. His "that's fine." Fallon clipped, the line dead before I could say more. My hope for connection, a shared pride, a softening. Lost, his control a wall. My silence a choice, not defeat. I stopped trying then. My inner monologue reflected, pain faint. Those moments, his grunts, my emails, a thread I'd let fray. His email a cut. My refusal to sign the NDA a stitch, not a suture. My strength in walking forward, not back. My family not his name, but my life, my people, my terms. The pivotal choice came quietly, not in a confrontation, but in a walk, a step away from his world, a step toward mine. I'd received a second letter from Klein 2 days ago, its tone sharper, offering a settlement if I sign the NDA, a sum, $50,000, dangled like bait, its subtext clear. By my silence, erase my claim, vanish. He's desperate, my inner voice noted. Suspense lingering, the offer a clue. His firm, Claire a secret, but not a lure. My fear a whisper, my clarity a roar. I don't want his money. I drafted no reply, my silence my answer. My choice not to engage, not to fight, but to walk away, specific and earned. My agency in refusing his terms, my self-respect in claiming my space, not his cage. I stood, my boots by the door, my coat damp from an earlier walk, my decision to act unfolding, not in words, but movement. I grabbed my keys, the rain a soft call, my destination not Boston, but a community garden I'd helped fund, its plots bare but ready, its soil a promise, my work a root, not his shadow. I'm starting something. My inner monologue glowed, strength rising, my fear, his response, his power. A wave, my clarity a shore, my choice to build, not beg, a defiance, not a plea. I drove, the city's lights blurred, the garden's gate open, its sign. Warwick community plot, a name I'd chosen, not his, but mine a reclamation, my identity a spark, not as to dim. At the garden, the rain was light, the soil dark, a volunteer, Jamal, a teacher, nodding, his "you made this," Fallon, warm, my smile real, my hands in the dirt, planting bulbs, daffodils for spring, a quiet act, my strength in creating, not destroying, my family not blood, but purpose, this earth, these hands. He can't touch this, my inner resolve hardened, clarity a tide, my fear a ripple. My choice to walk away from his money, his silence, a power, not a loss, my realization silent but profound. I was never his to disown, my worth not his to judge, my life a garden I'd tend, not his to uproot. Back home, the apartment was dark, the cedar candles flame low, my boots muddy, my flannel shirt damp, my reflection in the window clear. Eyes bright, face worn but alive. A woman who'd chosen herself, not his name. I'm Fallon, my inner voice sang, strength a quiet hum, my fear a shadow, my clarity a dawn, the garden's bulbs a promise, my work, my bonds, Mara, Lena, Jamal, a family, not his empire. What did I lose? My inner heart mused, a question for me. For anyone listening, his email a wound. My choice a healing, not a cure. My realization not in words, but in the dirt under my nails, the rain on my skin, the space I'd claimed, not as to fill. I sat, my laptop closed, the grant proposal sent, the NDA unanswered, Klein's letter a relic, not a threat, the rain a whisper, my apartment a home, not his cage. He'll never reply, my inner monologue noted, suspense fading, his motives, health, Claire, fear, a shadow I'd let lie, my strength in walking, not chasing, my resolution not neat, but true, my self-respect a light, not his to dim. I lit another candle, its glow soft, my hands steady, my heart full, the Seattle night a canvas, my life a plot I'd plant, trembling but unbroken, in the space I'd claimed, my own, forever.